Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, teachers prepare to deal with the psychosocial and other challenges as students head back to school. A significant shift in Rome's policy on funding Catholic Church projects in the Caribbean. A tropical depression 13 NOAA storm which is expected to approach the northern leewards on Friday. The details of the news coming up.
Avec Flow, animé on top up, sign up, quittez yo, every video and Flow. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Are you still washing your hands regularly, wearing your mask in public, and practicing social distancing? 0 cases does not mean COVID-free. Stay home if you're not well to keep others from getting sick. Continue to avoid crowds in public spaces. Always keep your guard up. We're still fighting this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
First up in the news, the Minister for Education has outlined some of the measures being taken to ensure the safety of students and teachers, particularly in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Education has announced that teachers will return to school on the 1st of September to engage in preparations for students who will return on the 7th of September.
Teachers will be engaged in professional staff development, training and planning. This school year, planning is even more essential than before, since teachers and their department heads must review curriculum and prepare for pre-testing activities, which will be very crucial this year. These pre-testing activities will guide our remedial program or programs which will be necessary before moving ahead. Schools will have to also engage in what we call curriculum mapping, which should mostly be horizontal or spiral, so that they ensure that students have the previous knowledge necessary to move forward. And this must be done since some of our students, due to limitations in necessities for online learning and due to lack of supervision by parents, they missed out some in third term and some in second term. So this year planning is even more necessary.
School facilities will require some work ahead of time.
During September 1st to 4th, we'll also be doing a lot of cleaning and rearranging of furniture, which will be done to ensure that everything is in place. Some places you might have to install some more water troughs and extra hand washing stations to make sure things are just that are necessary are in place. And so since we have no COVID-19 cases and since there is no community spread of COVID-19, all schools will reopen as normal. However, the Ministry of Education has a plan in place that will be activated if the national status as it relates to COVID-19 changes.
Assistant Chief Education Officer Dr. Jeffrey Blaise says teachers will be prepared to help students transition, many of whom may have psychosocial issues.
During the training in the week prior to school opening, we will be ensuring that teachers are not only ready for teaching, but are very, very astute in terms of identifying challenges in students. So, for instance, if a student is quiet and may not be responding as much, then you probably would have to engage that student to see what may be some of the causes, or if a student is overactive. So there are certain identifiers, some signals that may be displayed by students that would trigger a response in that regard. The other area, as Minister mentioned also, is we are going to be as normal as possible in terms of our interaction within the school environment, but also as safe as possible. And we want to reassure parents that we have put measures in place to ensure the safety of all, to ensure that our students will be in an environment that is conducive to not only their learning but also to their safety. And as she indicated as well, the IT experience will always be there. It has always been there in our school environment, and where possible, we'll be engaging our students too, if they choose to do some of the assignments online and submit it. So students will have options. They may decide to do the assignment and submit it to students physically, or they may want to do it online and submit it online. And that would be, sort of a participatory approach where students are sort of more eager to, and we know that especially when it comes to our boys, they might choose, to have an IT experience in that regard. So we will be flexible in the modalities. We have always a system to ensure that we maximize, students' participation in their learning.
And plans for an entirely new school building for the community of Maho. Parliamentary Representative Rayburn Blackmore and Prime Minister Skerritt briefly touched on the issue on the Prime Minister's recent television program.
The school PM, honestly, the school cannot be repaired. This school is going to fall on the heads of our teachers and our students if anybody tries to repair the school. As I said, I don't want the school.
Yeah, I agree that. I know we have some funds for the repairs, but I believe if we're going to do anything in the Maho Primary School now, it should be a new structure that should be built for the next 30, 40 years. To put new concrete on old concrete is not going to be the solution to the problem.
PM, I have a concept in my head, a nice L shape, and to relocate the basketball court to the southern end, and it's going to be the most spectacular school on island, the most modern school.
I had a B shape for Blackmore.
No, well, you see, it's not about me. I represent the best people on island.
The MP's contribution to education was also discussed.
We facilitate a number of students to university.
Yes. Last PM, again, people don't realize that. With my intervention and with your good self, we actually had 83 people from our constituency. I don't know, there could be more, but my own intervention and with your help. And as we speak, we have a number of students continuing. And we have, let me say, I want to say good afternoon to Mistress Bellingham and Mr. Bellingham, who's up is from Penville. Of course, the daughter placed number 1 on the national examination. Of course, in Mao, we have the smartest people. And, so congratulations to her. As I said to her, PM, I don't want an ordinary laptop, I want an Apple.
An Apple for?
Well, yeah, I don't want, so we're also looking at 302 students who go to high school to ensure that every one of them has a laptop. And thanks to
301 students?
302. High schools. We're qualified to have our own high school from our constituency. We have the numbers, the last census in 2011, between Mao and Belfast, we had 2,000 and 2,000 plus people. That's why it's absolutely important to build a new school in Mao. I really have to express my gratitude to the teachers in the small, condensed community center. And it's totally not right.
In other news now, the Roseau River Promenade is a signature component of what will be the new city of Roseau. Government recently handed over the keys to 16 kiosks, 10 on the Roseau River Promenade and 6 on Charles Avenue. One vendor who previously operated caravans on the riverside for 20 years says her application for one of those kiosks was unsuccessful. We have a few highlights from her story.
Unfortunately, what you can see here in the background, these were constructed after Hurricane Maria, and we were not given the opportunity to at least say whether we wanted to do business here, to continue with business here. What you've seen here today, to my understanding, there were 13 vendors and 1 barber. And only one of the vendors out of the 13 was replaced here. So everybody else that you have here are people who have not been here before. And unfortunately, that most of the people who are here are people who have businesses elsewhere and people who has a livelihood. As for me, I was self-employed, and I have not been employed from since January because I have been into the taxi service for over 20 years as well. And you know, with COVID-19, it's like the ships are not coming. So I have been unemployed from since January.
Celestine lost one caravan to Tropical Storm Erica and the other to Hurricane Maria.
I was expecting that the people who were here before would have given the priority. And if they decide they doesn't want to come back here, then it would have been left to them. But we were not given the priority. We were not given a choice like whether we wanted to be here or not. And this is very sad. One of the other young lady who I spoke with earlier this morning, she told me she was expecting that she would have gotten an area here as well, and she have not. And she's at her home. I know for sure 2 of the other persons that were here have migrated since after Hurricane Maria. And the others, I know one of the vendors who was in this location here, she has been located across the street over here, and that's as far as I know about it.
Celestine says she is convinced that based on her political affiliation, she did not stand a chance to operate one of those kiosks.
When these new structures were constructed here, we were asked to do applications, in fact, long before. And the most disappointing thing about it was that City Council, who was in charge of all the vendors here at the time that we had our own structure here, City Council said that it was no longer in their hands and we had to apply to housing and planning. So this is where my application actually was brought to. And then my son, who have been very interested in the resetting of business here again, he kept checking. As to the Monday before of the handing over ceremony of the keys, the Friday, he had gone to check with them and they said we are not ready. And the Friday when I got that news that every bar here on the riverbank area, the persons were given their keys, I called him and he said to me, Mommy, no, because just on Monday I checked them. And then he went in again the Monday and the lady said to him, well, it's not our fault, it was not in our hands. And only to find out that it was taken away from City Council and placed in the hands of the government. So when I heard that, it's like there was no hope for me.
The MP for Roseau Central has stated that these kiosks will serve as incubators for vendors, serving as a springboard into bigger business opportunities in the city.
You know what the riverside looked like before? There are lots of little shacks there, and you know what it looks like now. And so this, in our first stage, this is initially 16 new people who will get a brick and mortar location instead of operating out of their home as they have done before or on the sidewalks. You know, rent is now reasonable for them. And this is one of the issues that we have in Roseau Central, because rent is generally high. And if you were to, say, rent a ground floor for $5,000, 5,000 by 12, that's already 60. And when you do have to set up, you have to put your first month's, last month's rent, your security deposit. So it's a lot of startup costs for the small business owners. And with these kiosks, they will serve as, I would say, an incubator, where they're able to use this as an opportunity to get themselves as a business person, get their foot in the door, and hopefully, you know, expand from there to other locations in Roseau Central.
You're watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after this.
Giving away $30,000 in cash, oh, yeah. 2 bags of money plus a grand every Friday.
We're flowing better every day, and now we're making Fridays great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 or more.
Sign up.
Just switch the flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you wanna win cash galore.
We flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Are you still washing your hands regularly, wearing your mask in public, and practicing social distancing? 0 cases does not mean COVID-free. Stay home if you're not well to keep others from getting sick. Continue to avoid crowds in public spaces. Always keep your guard up. We're still fighting this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. The Roman Catholics in Dominica and the rest of the Caribbean will have to summon a new perspective on giving to support their projects like the Roseau Cathedral. This project has been lagging for years, with the cost of repairs spiraling way beyond the initial scope of works. For Catholics who say let Rome build it, Bishop Malze has given a wake-up call.
Of late, the bishops of the Antilles have been advised by the Holy See to work in earnest towards self-sufficiency as existing subsidies continue to decrease. Indeed, in recent years, we have seen significant reduction in those subsidies, not because they do not want to give or they want to give less, but because the world over, there is less to go around. Moreover, with the present pandemic, from which every country, every funding agency is suffering, the prospects for the future are even less promising. I really believe that we are being challenged to live within our means and to progressively build a local church which is of the people, for the people, and by the people.
To date, Bishop Malze says $9.6 million has been spent on the Roseau Cathedral renovation project. $3.8 million of that is a loan from the NBD.
We know that a loan means repayment. This, in essence, is what we have been doing to our mother church for the past 7 years, to make sure that she is well adorned for her children's worship. However, our main struggle in the process has been one of finance. It remains the principal commodity needed to take us to completion. There exists among us phrases which seem to have become a mantra among some Catholics when they speak of the financial needs of our mother church. And those phrases are: the Catholic Church rich, the Vatican have plenty money, let them build it, Rome should build it for us. The truth is, brothers and sisters, in the process of our fundraising, we have received a total of $1.4 million from Rome, or the Vatican as we say, via the Pontifical Mission Societies, or PMS, the Papal Foundation, and the Italian Conference of Bishops. These statements that we make, to my mind, are not very wholesome. When we consider that as a diocese, we have been regarded as a missionary territory since our inception, and Rome, the Vatican, has been sustaining us in so many different ways, whether through our small building projects and even our day-to-day running of the diocese.
Ridding the country of illegal firearms is proving to be a more serious challenge for the police. Chief Daniel Carbon says his men are working night and day on the issue but are not making the kind of headway needed in recovering illegal firearms.
I don't want to send instill fear into the public, but we all know that we have quite a bit of illegal firearms on island. We've been doing a number of searches. Some of our searches are intelligence-led, and we do it through our own thinking. There seems to be a difficulty in recovering these firearms. We carry out searches at night. We do vehicle checkpoints. We do home searches. But for whatever reason, we just cannot find and seize these firearms. And here lies the reason why we should have a strong intelligence base in the community, because people know where the firearms are.
The National Security Minister thinks anyone caught with an illegal firearm, in his words, should go straight to jail.
A lot of the illegal firearms are coming in from our legal ports. And then you can go to a gun show in America and buy a firearm. So you have found it happens in Barbados and Dominica, The persons go and they buy firearms at gun shows, and then the firearm comes from legal ports. So it's a tremendous challenge. But I wanted to already commend the police because even last year, out of the 10 murders, I think 6 involved firearm.
Yes.
But the police actually detected
8
was able to serve 8 out of the 10 murders.
There have been illegal gun amnesties in the past, but the police chief says they were unsuccessful. The chief says illegal guns are entering the country through the legal ports and also through the back door. And Tropical Depression 13 became a storm on Thursday and is expected to approach the northern leewards on Friday. Here is Senior Met Officer Marshall Alexander.
Tropical Depression number 13 formed last night from a tropical wave which was being monitored in the central Atlantic. At 11 a.m., Tropical Depression number 13 was located near latitude 16.0 degrees north, longitude 52.0 degrees west, or about 620 miles east of Dominica. Present movement is to the west-northwest near 21 miles per hour. Tropical Depression number 13 is expected to develop into a tropical storm later today. On its current track, the system is expected to approach the northern Leeward Islands tomorrow Friday, passing just north of the islands late Friday into Saturday. As the system nears the Leeward Islands, an increase in shower activity and possible thunderstorm activity is expected across Dominica from tomorrow and into Saturday. Moderate to heavy showers are likely from overnight and during the overnight period. Current rainfall projection is 1 to 3 inches or 25 to 75 millimeters, with higher amounts in elevated areas. Gusty winds near 25 miles per hour are expected, particularly near showers. A flood watch or warning may be required from Friday evening. A deterioration in sea conditions can be expected Friday afternoon, with wave increasing to 10 feet by overnight. A small craft warning will be issued at 6 p.m. Friday 21st August. Possible impacts: shallow rivers, streams, gutters and ravines may overflow their banks and flood surrounding areas. Landslides and rockfalls from overhanging cliffs, landslides due to intense rainfall. Seas will become dangerous for sea beavers and small craft owners. Loose objects may become missiles in gusty winds. Residents should continue to monitor the progress of this system. The Dominica Meteorological Service will continue to provide updates as they become available.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Are you still washing your hands regularly, wearing your mask in public, and practicing social distancing? 0 cases does not mean COVID-free. Stay home if you're not well to keep others from getting sick. Continue to avoid crowds in public spaces. Always keep your guard up. We're still fighting this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
With Flow, when I bag our money, cash out. Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
Yo, check this. Flow is giving away $30,000 in cash. 2 bags of money plus a grand every Friday.
With Flow is better every day, and now we're making Fridays great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 or more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you wanna win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
So top up, Get a plan or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. Teachers prepare to deal with the psychosocial and other challenges as students head back to school. Significant shift in Rome's policy on funding Catholic Church projects in the Caribbean. And Tropical Depression 13, Noah storm, which is expected to approach the northern leewards on Friday. You may access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.